Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. Your host Frank Holder. This is the show we talk about sports with comedians. As we wait for the comics to jump in, and we bring in filmmaker Jason. Hey Jay, how you doing, sir? How's everything, bro?
Hey, everything is good, people. Good to
That's
see
good
you.
to see you. Good to see you. Kev Lane is in the building too. Kev, how you doing, sir? How's everything?
What's happening, brother? What's going on, Jay?
Okay.
What's up, Kev?
Yes, sir.
My man, comedian Daniel Dugar is now in the building. Double D, how
What's
you doing?
up, fellas? What's up, fellas?
What up, Dugar?
You guys, what's
Hey,
going on?
man. Hey, man. Hey, Frank, I went and saw that movie today, Alto Nights with De Niro.
Okay, we gotta talk about that.
Yeah, we talking about my bad. My bad.
We gotta talk about that. Who's okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump into this as we wait for other people and jump on. I want to start with obviously the comedian because it shows about a comedian. So Dugar, you're gonna go up first. I want to ask you, who's your GOAT and why? You ain't got to give me 5 reasons. Just tell me who's your GOAT and
In
why.
each sport or just one sport?
Whatever one you want to do.
I'm
doing one sport.
I kind of broke down several sports. So for me, my GOAT personally is Jordan. When it comes to basketball, I think he had all of the intangibles. I think he could do it all. He could pass, he could shoot, he could dribble, he could defend, he can score. And he just brought a mental mentality to the game that was seek and destroy for me. Baseball, to me, it's Bonds because, as y'all know, I was an athlete in school, baseball and basketball. Bonds was a year behind me who played right across the bridge at Sarah High School. And I had never seen anybody hit a baseball so far to be so skinny in high school. His bat speed was ridiculous. So I'm going to go Bonds with that. Golf, Tiger. I just think he kind of had the Jim Brown syndrome playing against all these white boys in golf as Jim Brown did all them white boys in the NFL and just overcame everything to be the best. Tennis, Serena. We already know the track record. And football, I got to go with Brady and Rice.
Okay, you got 2 there for Brady and Rice, but I'm gonna leave you.
Okay, I'll go with. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to go with Brady then. I'll go with Brady.
Okay, yeah. My man Jay, talk to me, bro. Who's your GOAT and why?
Well, I'm just gonna go basketball. And you know who that is for me? It's LeBron Ramon James.
Yeah, LeBron James. Yeah.
You're talking about a guy who has 42,000 points. He's still playing at an all NBA level at the age of 40. He's 4th all time in assists. He's also in the top 10 in steals. He's in the top 25 in rebounds. Only one of 2 forwards to be in the top 25 in rebounding in his career. And he did all of that with more pressure than any athlete has ever had to come into a sport and do it. And he ain't had no scandals in a social media age. He's a GOAT for me.
And listen, that's huge to do. That part right there alone, that was the least thing you said, but that really is huge. No baby mamas, no baby mama drama, no drugs, no gun charges, no stuff that we normally see with people who come out from a lower income neighborhood.
That's not huge, bro. That's not huge. That's not huge. We put a lot on it, but that's not huge. That's not hard to do.
Okay, well, I wholeheartedly disagree with you because honestly, the statistics will change. I can pull up some statistics for you tomorrow's show.
But Frank, when you say that, it just goes to say that you don't put enough credit on who the man is.
It's not that, bro. Not that at all. Not that at all. I know what you're saying.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. We good.
I'll come at you with some statistics tomorrow because you and I I love to debate with you, bro. I love it. I absolutely love it. You bring out the best in me. Kev Lane, talk to me, bro. Tell me what you think. Who's your GOAT and why?
My GOAT would be Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. I'm with you, Dugas. He upped the level of play. He had the tenacity of absolute animal, and I'm not concerned about off the court accolades as much as I am what he did on the court, what he did as a basketball player. And I'm sorry, even though I wasn't a Jordan fan back then, to see what he was doing, the eye test, to see how he played, how fierce he competed on both ends of the court, how he just put the fear of I would say the fear of God, but he put the fear of Mike in everybody that played against him. Had Shaq
He
scared
had
of
no
him.
weaknesses. He had no weaknesses on the basketball court. None.
None.
He said
None.
that. It's
He was
true.
a lousy teammate.
Mike was. I don't care of how
That's a weakness.
he treated people. To me,
I'm
that's
just
not
saying, that's a weakness.
Well, that's in your eyes, and I hear you.
And that's subjective because people say, I'm sorry, my brother. Go ahead. My bad.
No,
Go ahead.
Duga. I'm with Duke.
It's
Go ahead,
it's
Duke.
sad. It's sad how we look at things and be subjective about somebody being a horrible teammate. If a brother pushes his
Yeah.
teammates to be the best that they can be, that's being a horrible teammate. Is he being insensitive to their feelings? I mean, come on, man. Kobe had the same
No,
tenacity. Allen Iverson had the same tenacity. Magic had the same tenacity. Bird had the same tenacity. And I'm sure Bron has the same tenacity. So I had teammates that I played ball with. I couldn't stand them because they was horrible teammates. One was a bully, but when we laced up and played in between them goals, we was on the same accord. So
Right.
you can't say somebody was a horrible teammate and take away from what they did on the court.
He put his hand on people,
on the
Dugar.
court.
You're not putting your hands on me,
On
bro.
the court.
We had teammates in our locker room that put their hands on people too. That's foul, but that
Yeah.
doesn't take away their greatness on the court, and that's what we're talking about.
No,
All right. Okay. So let
I'm
me
not taking it away. I'm saying a weakness is he's a horrible teammate.
let
Leave it at
Stacey J into the chat.
Okay, I respect it. What you're saying, I don't agree, but I respect it.
Stacey J is in the building, y'all. I haven't seen her in a week. It's good to see you, Stacey.
Good
That's
Who is
evening.
that? Who is that?
Just
Who is that? Who is that?
I tell you what, ain't nobody putting their hands on me either. So I agree with whoever said that. Don't put your hands on me. Okay.
So, Stacey, the question is, who's your GOAT and why?
Who is my GOAT? As a young Black woman, I would have to say that Serena Williams is my GOAT. She didn't have any professional training until the age of 10. And at the age of 10, she was ranked the first in her division without any official training. We already know how hard Richard Williams went. So Joe Jackson of sports, we already know how hard he went. So he made sure that both of his daughters had everything that they needed. She was first for about 57 straight weeks back in 2022. Overall, she finished with 23 Grand Slams, 14 doubles titles, 4 gold medals, and 73 World Tennis Association titles. So we already know what she's coming with. So
That's right.
she's my GOAT.
That's right. Now, for me, I'm sitting here thinking like,
Hey, hold on, Frank. Hold on. Frank, can I just say one thing? Sorry. Also, if we're talking about not just off the court, but we're talking about the GOAT, somebody that everybody admires. How many of us on this panel right now have Jordans in their closet or on their feet or in their collection? And then how many, I'm not trying to compare the two, but if it was about sneaker collection or whatever, how many people have a bunch of bronze? I think have.
That's not a fair
Everybody.
question.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I got my
that's not a fair question. That's not a fair question. It's not
because
a fair
Phil Knight designed the sneakers, bro. I mean, designers do that. That wasn't
It's not even
Jordan.
about that. It's not even about that. It's not a fair question because LeBron came out 20 years after Michael Jordan. That's not fair. Jordan has and I'm trying to keep this as a fair show. Jordan had the luxury of being out first, setting a sneaker deal way back in the 80s and everything else. So I like your statement.
But Frank, that narrative is off because LeBron has social media to help him sell those shoes globally, where Jordan did not. And then when we bring up narratives such as what they do off the court, Jim Brown did some outstanding things off the field. Steph Curry has done some outstanding things. Mutombo built the hospital. So when we throw that in, I think it's an injustice to your question.
Dugar, that is not fair because Michael Jordan came out with sneakers and sneaker branding in 1983. He had global marketing, started out with him in 19.
He didn't have the internet.
It doesn't matter. The internet is the
He
internet.
had 3 news channels. He had 3 TV channels.
hold on, let me finish. In 1983, when you marketed a sneaker at the time, you literally were marketing to the world, and there wasn't social media. Listen, social media is what it is today. I can't knock that. But at the same token, it's not fair to compare sneakers as the greatness of the athlete. It's just not fair.
I agree.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But your question was GOAT.
My question
So
still is,
we shouldn't even include what they do off the court.
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, because that would kill Jordan because he
I'm
did
not
nothing off the court.
I'm not including
What
it.
he said.
My question was and is, and this is now my turn. Who's your GOAT and why? My GOAT for me is Michael Jordan and or Tom Brady. You know, Tom Brady 10 Super Bowl appearances. Michael Jordan literally has 6 NBA championships. He's got 6 NBA Finals MVP. He's got 14 NBA All-Star appearances, 3-time NBA All-Star MVPs. Listen, Jordan is my GOAT, and it's really close there with Brady for me, because Brady did what he did too. 10 Super Bowl appearances, 6 wins. It's really hard to jump into that. But let's move on. Let's continue to move on. Dugar, you got the next thing up, bro. And I'm loving this debate because when I hang up with this, when I get off this thing, I'm gonna call you and I'm gonna debate that topic more with you, Dugar, because that's just what I do. But the question now is, what was your favorite college team and why?
I can't say just one because I had 3 of them. I had that
True.
that 90-91 running Rebels team.
Mm-hmm.
I had that run from 91 to 93 with the Fab Five, and then I had that 81-84 run with Phi Slamma Jamma.
Right.
So I can take the dice and throw them. The one that all of them were exciting. I just got to put them all there as a tie, man, because they all brought some form of excitement back to back to back to back. And the slam dunks was crazy with Phi Slamma Jamma. Just seeing 5 freshmen start for the Fab Five was something we hadn't seen. And that running Rebel team was just beastie. They were stepping on throats. So I put all of them as a tie, man. I'm sorry. I put them all as a tie for me.
Listen, the funny thing is I think I did the same thing, but I'm gonna come to yours. You might have missed 1 or 2 that I didn't even add, but I'm gonna throw mine out there in a second after I hear Jason and Kev and Stacy. Jay, who's your favorite college team and why?
I mean, my favorite college team overall growing up was always North Carolina. You know, like in terms of like the team that I rooted for. But 1A for me was Georgetown.
Right.
Because, you know, I didn't see like any black head coaches outside of John Thompson, and I just loved the way that Georgetown played. Plus, they were in the finals almost every year, you know, when I was a kid, you know, starting out. But in terms of like my favorite team, I gotta go 1991 UNLV running Rebs. Even though they didn't win the championship, I'm gonna stand on they got paid, Dugar.
Yeah,
they got paid.
Yeah.
But in terms of like excitement, like you could not wait to see those dudes play and what they was doing to people. 91 UNLV.
Yeah, they was stepping on throws. They was taking hearts.
And snatching souls. Souls. Kev, give me your favorite college team and why.
Now, all those teams that were mentioned by Dugar and Jay, absolutely love them, and I can't disagree with you because they all were dope. But my favorite team out of all of them, I'm gonna have to say easily the Michigan Fab Five, 91 to 93. Love them.
Okay.
They changed it for me. The socks, the sneakers, the pants, the way that they played as freshmen, crazy. I have to put them at the number 1 spot.
Stacy J, give me your number 1 favorite college team and why.
I had a feeling that the Fab Five would be very popular because they took mine. So I decided to go off the beaten path a little bit, and I actually have 2 really big on college football over basketball. So my first team is the 01 Hurricanes, the U. Historically love the U. You know, all of our favorites were on that team, and they really but the 01 U, they won the championship, and they end up having 38 players in the NFL draft after that. And just to let you know who's all on that team: Clinton Portis, Jeremy Shockey, Jonathan Vilma, Ed Reed, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, Andre Johnson, and Sean Taylor. So they were one of them. And the second one following in a similar suit is 2019 LSU with Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, and
Mhm.
Jamar Chase, Jamar Chase, who are still all doing very well in the league. And they ended up with 726 points and 36 plus points every game in that season, except for one ended up going 15-0. So those are my
Again, I like your picks. I like your picks, Stacey. My favorite college teams is really hard for me to pick. You guys said UNLV. I had UNLV down. I had obviously the Fab Five down. But my favorite college team I like to play ball that I would make time out to watch has to be the Georgetown Hoyas between 82 and 85. You know, I was like, listen, I can't even tell you how much of a fan I was of Sleepy Floyd at the time. I used to love watching that boy ball. Like Sleepy Floyd was the man. And being that he was small, he looked small on my TV, I really like watching Sleepy Floyd play. I really did, man. So that brings me into my next thing is Dugar. I'm gonna ask you this. What was your favorite tournament moment and why? Favorite tournament moment.
Favorite tournament moment in what sport?
And NCAA basketball, being that we're talking about, you know, it's the Final Four now.
Favorite tournament moment for me. Wow. I can't really.
It's hard, right? It's really hard.
It's really hard because if I do that, I'm gonna switch over to the ladies because I enjoy watching the ladies more than I enjoy watching the guys.
Well, then that's what it is. Go ahead. It's a tournament.
I can't even call one, man. I would just have to say LSU beating Iowa because that was kind of like a magic bird kind of thing. We all knew what it was about. And to see LSU get that, I was cheering big time for them. And even though her game is unorthodox, she still put the numbers up. And I was just rooting for that young sister in LSU to beat what everybody wanted to be the GOAT and had never won anything. So I'll go with LSU beating Iowa.
I like that. I like that pick. Jay, filmmaker Jason Hayes, bro. Talk to me, man. What was your favorite? And I know you got a handful.
No, not this one. I mean, ask me something hard the next time. This right here is real easy.
Okay.
Since I grew up, like I said, rooting for North Carolina, that means that I hated Duke. D-O-O-K. Duke. Right?
I don't like them either.
That 1990 championship game when them UNLV running Rebels beat them boys by 30.
Oh, yeah.
It was euphoric.
Stop stealing.
I imagine it must be like what shooting heroin for the first time feel like. You know what I'm saying? Bro, that is my favorite moment ever in basketball.
I like that. Kev, give me your favorite tournament moment. Favorite.
You might as well skip me because he just said it. Jay, I'm with you. That was my favorite. Smashed them 103-73. I loved it. And I hate Duke. Duke. So yeah, I love that. And to Jerry Tarkanian, come on, man. That was beautiful.
I love that too. Let's see where we at. Stacey, what is your favorite tournament moment and why?
My favorite tournament moment is when the world was formally introduced for the first time to the chef, Steph Curry, when he was with Davidson and they played Wisconsin and he put 33 of them things on them boys. And 22 shots. I believe he was 11 out of 22, took them to the Elite Eight. And he was the fourth person to have done that at the time. But that is when we all were put on notice about Steph Curry and saw that he was really special and he was going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Okay, I like that. See, y'all, we're flying by the show too fast because we all have the same answers. My favorite tournament moment got to be when UNLV ran all over them boys at Duke. But I also really loved the moment when the world was introduced to Shaq on national television because I had never seen Shaq play for LSU at all. I had heard about him, but when I saw LSU on my TV screen, I was like, "Whoa, who is this boy?" I heard about it.
But they were loaded, Frank.
Yeah, they were.
But the other big man had more talent.
Stanley Robertson.
Sure did.
But and Shaq can tell you Stanley Robertson was better than him too.
And he will. But let me just throw this out there and say, when I was introduced to Shaq at the time, I was like, this boy does look special. You know what I mean? Like that boy, he looks special.
I
And
remember
Yeah.
that team.
yeah, he's special. You know what I mean? So we're going kind of fast through these questions, but I'm going to still bring up the next one. What was your favorite college player who entered the pros, Dugar, and did nothing?
Well, let me talk slow so we can slow it up. Well, for me,
My favorite.
I'm going to say it's a tie between two.
Here we go.
For me was Sharif Abdul-Rahim.
Mm.
I
I
like
thought he was gonna be beastie in the NBA. And it was crazy. Both of them played for Cal Berkeley because I'm a Bay Area kid and Cal is in the Bay. The other one was Lamont Murray. Remember how dope Lamont Murray
I
was
remember Lamar.
with
Yeah.
Jason
Yeah.
Kidd?
Oh,
They was
yeah.
a problem because they had beat Duke that year, and I was like, "Thank you." And I said to myself, if Jason and Lamont stay for their senior year, Sharif was coming in as a freshman. They would have won the title. They'd have been so for me. It was Lamont Murray had the knee issues, and Sharif had the knee issues, and it just slowed their roll, man.
But Dugar, in fairness with Sharif, man, the issue wasn't talent. It was the injuries for him because
It was the injuries. It was the
Because
injuries.
when he got there, he could play. He
Yeah.
could see it.
Because as a freshman, he was an All-American. You couldn't stop that dude, man.
Right.
6'9", do everything. Yeah.
You could do it all.
Right. Well, anyway, since Jay, you got the floor, what was yours? What was your favorite college player who did nothing?
Man, for me, I can't say he did nothing. I'll just say that he didn't meet expectations. A dude I liked a lot coming out of college was Joe Smith. Joe Smith, you know, he was cold in Maryland, man. I mean, you know, he was 6'10", he played D, he could shoot it, he could move a lot. And I can't say he was really injured or anything like that. I mean, for whatever reason, he just didn't translate. So to me, he just kind of underwhelmed as a pro. So to me, Joe was like the one that kind of stood out for me.
Okay.
Good.
Stacy's not there yet. Okay, Stacy, you
I
there?
am here. Just
Okay,
had to
Stacey.
move
Okay.
down.
Stacy, who's your favorite college player who did nothing?
I also have two. One basketball, one football. My first one. We're gonna go with basketball. Jahlil Okafor. He had a phenomenal first season at Duke, tore it up in high school. I personally think that he needed a little bit more time to develop in college. He did pretty well with the 76ers. They took him in 2015, third overall, behind Cat and D'Angelo Russell, who are still in the league and who's still doing well with their respective teams. He is no longer in the league, so that furtherly explains my
Duke.
why.
Yeah.
You hate Duke. Oh my gosh.
I do.
But
I prayed for his failure. I'm sorry.
see, you ain't gonna get your blessings that way. You can't do that. Get that hate up off you. Anyway, yes,
Burn some
14.
sage.
He had a very good rookie season, pretty decent second season, but once he left the 76ers, it was just downhill from there. Ended up on the Shanghai Sharks. That's not a real team. Please don't cancel me. But and other teams overseas, and now is back with the G League in Indiana. So it's definitely expected a lot more out of him based off of his high school and rookie year at Duke. And my second one is, well, shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, but Jamarcus Russell.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
He just sipping lean on the sideline. He ain't looking at the playbook or nothing.
At all. And I believe that was part of the reason why he he's in the NFL. Nobody wanted him because he just wasn't committed to learning and being the best in the game. The Raiders have continued to make questionable decisions since then. He was drafted first overall in 07 by then and only started 25 games in the 2 years that he was there. So those are my picks.
Hey, he started
Okay.
that, man.
Kev, did you get your picks? Let me get yours.
No, I did not yet.
Go ahead.
But I only got one. Might be a controversial one to some people, but I don't care. Favorite player to not really amount to anything. He did work a little bit, I guess, in some people's eyes, but he didn't get that chip. Patrick Ewing. he was a schoolmate of mine, and we supported him thoroughly. My team sent to raise money so we can go see him play against, I think it was Villanova back in the day. We supported that brother all the way, and the Knicks drafted him with that bogus, pick that they had with the tumbler and all that kind of stuff. It was a mess. But Pat
Okay, Boston. All right, Boston Red Auerbach getting Lynn bias at the 2 pick.
Ooh.
Don't hate. Don't be mad.
No, as I'm telling you, don't. Hey, come on now.
I'm not. Pat was my friend, but Pat got to the league and missing layups or doing whatever they did to never amount to getting a chip. When everybody under the sun just knew that he was going to get into the league and do something, get a chip, do something. MVP. What?
Kev, that's a very controversial pick because, bro,
Jordan effect.
Patrick
Jordan
Ewing,
stopped a lot of cats from championships.
Right.
yeah, he did. And
Hall of Famers.
Patrick Ewing
Right.
was on first defensive all-team, NBA all-team for like 10, 15 years straight. So he might not
I
have
said
got
it was going to be controversial.
Yeah,
He was named to the all 75 team, bro.
Hey, you know what, Frank?
That's
Real
playing
quick, another one of my favorite players that didn't amount to nothing was Dwayne the Pearl Washington.
Out of
Out of
Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Yeah.
That boy had handles, man. I thought he was really gonna amount to something, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So
And another for me, Frank, I would say Rod Strickland. I thought Rod Strickland had a way better career than what he had.
okay, but Rod Strickland still had a pretty good career though. So
Rod Strickland
Yeah,
was
but that's
dope.
not what I expected from him.
okay, so y'all have really, really high expectations. Like super high.
He barely even started.
But he did start though. Not barely. He did start.
I
He
was
started for a couple teams,
I
for a
was a
couple
rock
seasons.
yeah.
Yeah, he did do some work. So let me give you my two, and then we could debate my two, and because I had two. My two, number one for me is Mateen Cleaves. After he won the national championship, for Michigan, I thought he was gonna come out and do a whole lot of work. I was like, oh, this boy gonna do some work. That dude played what, 6 seasons. He played 6 seasons in the NBA. After he led Michigan to a championship in 2000, he played for the Pistons, the Sacramento Kings, Supersonics, and the Cavs, and he was very disappointing. But my other person who really disappointed me now I'm going to say this, it might be controversial to some, but I thought this dude was going to be 15-time NBA All-Star, go down in the top 75 greatest players to ever play the game. We're going to be talking about him he's not even a forethought, and it's Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson came out after winning 3 College Players of the Year awards, after doing so much work for Virginia. He was one of my favorite players to watch in college. I used to make sure, I said, when they playing?
Yeah.
When they playing? Yeah.
True.
And Ralph Sampson he didn't do it. He ended up getting now for Virginia, he averaged 20 points and 10 rebounds first 3 seasons. You can't tell me that his expectation wasn't really, really high. Ended up playing for what? 9 years. And
I agree with that's a good pick. That's a good pick, man. Because he was on.
Really good
I
pick.
remember him and Ewing. That Sports Illustrated, man. Yeah, that was a big deal.
Oh,
Yeah,
I remember that cover. Yeah,
That was a big deal. That was a big deal. Both of them looking up at the back. Yeah, that was a big deal.
So that's who did
Both
players.
disappointing.
Huh?
I said,
No,
and they're
you
both
still
disappointing.
You still suck up both. Okay, so now since I ran out of my questions, I thought we were going to last a whole lot longer. Now I'm going to come off the top of my dome with some questions because I got some good ones too. Who was your least player you like to watch in college who was doing work, Dugar? Your least player?
Bobby Hurley. Couldn't stand him. I used to wish I could go to a game and throw something at him. But he was putting in work. He was putting in work. I'm like, y'all can't stop this dude. Why y'all letting him do this and do that? I hate Duke with a passion. And I couldn't stand Bobby Hurley. The only cat I liked on Duke, honestly, was Grant Hill, and that was real tight. But it was Bobby Hurley.
Okay. I like that. Okay, Jay, who for you who did work who you didn't like?
See my face, man. I'm gonna stay with Duke too, but I'm gonna go with Bobby Hurley's teammate, Christian Laettner.
Oh,
Damn.
you took mine.
You be stealing.
I hated that dude so much, man. But all he did was make plays, bro. I mean, he wasn't quick. He wasn't he wasn't anything except a person who just got it done, man. I mean, that's all I can say about him. I mean, like, even though I hated him, I had to respect him. And especially when Kentucky blew that game against them in the tournament, when Grant Hill threw the ball the length of the court, Laettner catches it, turns and drops it. Of course he made it, man, because that's all he did his whole college career. I hated that dude. I still hate him.
Yep, I got to give you that one too. And I'm gonna just throw this out there before Kev says his thing. They even made a documentary on why we hate Christian Laettner on Netflix, and I just watched.
Yep, sure did. It's good too.
It's good. It's good. Kev, who did you hate? Who did work? He took it.
He just said it. Jay just said it. Christian Laettner. That. And he made the Olympic team.
Right.
He took Shaq's spot. Correct.
It should have been Shaq. It should have been Shaq.
Should have been Shaq.
Yeah, he should have been Shaq.
There you go.
And to this day, I'm gonna throw this out there and say, and to this day, it baffles me because I just watched Christian Laettner was my pick also. I just recently watched the Olympics, like we beat the Olympic team in 1991, and they talked more about a little bit about Christian Laettner. They didn't even mention Shaq at all. You know what I mean? That should have been a mention thing. They didn't mention. So with that being said, which team did you hate to watch that did work? Duga, which team did you hate?
Duke.
Here we go.
Duke. It's like Bobby Hurley, Christian Laettner, Coach K, the fans, the TV coverage. Couldn't stand them.
The TV coverage. That's not
couldn't stand. They was on TV every week. They got to talk, and I said to myself, this is when I really thought about nepotism. I said, how is this dude Christian Laettner on the freaking Olympic basketball team?
Mm-hmm.
How is it? And when you look at the team photo, it looked like all of the players in the photo and their facial expression is like, look, we know. We don't know why he on the team neither. It was just like one of them things, man. He just seemed like he was in the wrong place and he knew it.
Yeah, I have to agree with that part. Jay, what's your thoughts?
One of my favorite quotes is, there's a lot, by Mark Twain. He said, there's lies, damn lies, and statistics, right? And Christian Laettner's statistics say, that he deserved to be on the team, right? But that was a damn lie. I mean, like, we know that's Shaq, right? Mm-hmm. So the team I really hated to watch, Duke. Because they did it different eras and they still doing it now. I still got to look at these dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's Duke. It's always going to be Duke. I hate nobody more than them.
Mm-hmm. I got to agree with that one. Kev.
The team you love to hate. There you go. Duke. Hate them. I think people, like Jason just said it, I think people still hate them to this day. And they've changed so many players. They've changed. It's a hate thing for Duke. I think they have the way that they carried themselves is like they're prissy or they have like a air about them where their noses are up in the air. They look down on people. I just don't like them as a whole. And Coach K is a hell of a coach, but still, he would get some obnoxious players. What's his name? That coach for the Lakers right now? I mean,
JJ Redick.
You could just go down the list.
Yeah, I can't stand him. He next on my list.
He next.
They got like an elitist, entitled energy about him that I don't like.
Yes, they do.
There you go, elitist. That's the word right there.
I'm not a fan of JJ Redick at all.
They remind me of every 1980s preppy douchebag from every movie you ever seen. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got from them. Even with the preppy haircuts and stuff, I hated those dudes.
You know what's funny? What Jay just said. When I think about JJ Redick and Christian Laettner and Bobby Hurley, I think about the movie that what was the movie? Less Than Zero?
Yeah.
When LL Cool J had that little song in there going back to Cali. Mm-hmm. They were like this, like the Breakfast Club, but not the Breakfast Club.
Right.
I couldn't stand them, man.
Yeah, my team is Kentucky. I I hated Duke a lot, but
I
I
get
also
that.
hated Kentucky. I hated Kentucky too, because honestly, it seemed like all the brothers going to Kentucky. Back then, when I was looking at, I couldn't figure out why a lot of the brothers wasn't picking to go to HBCUs, and everybody was picking to go to, these these white schools like Kentucky and Kansas and Duke and all. I couldn't figure out all of that, so I was pretty lost.
The duffel bag over the backyard fence was bigger. That's why.
This is what happened.
Yeah, yeah. So let me throw this up there. Let me throw it out there. Okay. What was it? Dugar, you got this. You got this next question up. Which player who did not do work in college, they did a little something, they got enough to got to the pros, but which player did just a little bit, who exploded for you in college that you sitting there saying, wow, I didn't see that coming at all? Which player was that stands out for you?
Steph Curry.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry, when he was at Davidson, I don't know if they put pins in his jersey, but his jersey was falling off of it.
Yeah.
That's how you would ignore him on the court. And the injuries that he had, the injuries that he had in the beginning of the season when they were going to get rid of him, and he got them ankles right, and they made them special orthopedic shoes for him. I never knew that he was going to be the dude that he has become, because each year you saw he got stronger and stronger and stronger. And I think I think he should be in the conversation as one of the GOATs.
Really?
When you really look at his size and his skill set, he has a skill set like what we've never seen in the NBA. I mean, he is really, there's a few people that have changed the game outside of Kareem for the skyhook and Wilt with the dunks. Steph Curry has revolutionized the game. Not Jordan, not Kobe, not LeBron, not Bird, but that dude Steph Curry changed the way basketball is played. He's really changed the game.
He really did. He really did. Let me ask you, Jay, which player who you didn't see doing work in college, who didn't do work in college, who came out right now and is shocking the world of how good they're doing? And it'd be great if you could pick somebody besides Steph Curry, because Steph Curry's, I think, it's easy picking.
I had a few in mind, but Steph wasn't on my list. But that's the answer, Dugar.
Yeah,
I mean, the dude revolutionized the way the game being played right now universally. So, but for me, a person who did okay work in college, no, he was good in college, but I didn't think his game was going to translate, and it shocked me when he got to the league. Damon Stoudemire. Because Damon Stoudemire was a 5'10" point guard who won Rookie of the Year. Like, I thought Isaiah was crazy when he took him like 6th overall. I was like, what? A 5'10" point guard, bro? What are you talking about? And all he did was win Rookie of the Year. He had a great career, in NBA, for as long as it lasted. And now he's coaching, doing the same thing. So I'd say he was probably the most surprising for me.
Did I ask what was your favorite college player? I did ask that, right? I did. I got that. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Okay,
no.
I'm gonna get to that in a second. I'm gonna get to that second. Kev, give me yours. Give me yours.
Well, this might seem like a tough pick or whatever, but given the question, Frank, you said somebody that we saw play in college, but we didn't know that they were going to explode like they did. Right. I think that narrative just totally fits Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan was, we was looking at him in college and he made that little corner shot, and it's like, But when he did when he got into the league, it's like he transformed the league to a whole different thing, a whole different level. And I don't think that he has been matched since, as far as what he did to transcend the game.
Hence the joke, the only man to ever hold Michael Jordan under 30 was Dean Smith.
Yeah, that's true. That's the joke. Honestly, that was my pick. My pick was literally Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That was my pick. Like, who was the person? Like, I watched Michael Jordan play somewhat in North Carolina. If you had asked me, I'd have said James Worthy was going to be the man more than Michael Jordan back in college. If you had asked me when I watched them all play. But anyway, let me throw the ball out to the court now, saying, who is your favorite college player and why?
Easy.
For me, it was LSU's Chris Jackson.
Mhm.
He was the first Steph Curry to me,
Right.
but he had two monsters with him. But he was like, you had to pick him up half court, bro. He was quick. He had a left hand. He had a right hand. He wasn't scary. He wasn't scared to come into the paint. And he was another cat that showed no mercy. He was for me, he had the tenacity of a Steph Curry and an Allen Iverson for me. He was nasty with it, showed no mercy, and he was to put you to sleep. So I'm gonna say it was Chris Jackson, LSU.
I like that. Jay, give me yours.
Hey, for me, early on, it was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was my favorite college basketball player until I had to relent and say that Len Bias was better. So for me, Len Bias was my favorite player. 6'8", could do everything, mid-range, kill you, go off the bounce on you, dunk, post you, dunk on top of you, drop step you. Len Bias was the absolute truth. And that is one of the greatest we will never knows in the history of sports, in my opinion.
Real talk.
I like that. Go ahead, Kev.
Favorite college player? Easily, my man, Allen. Allen, AI.
He was excited.
I feel bad for him that he, had to go through some of his obstacles in his private life, but I think that he's even tried to overcome some of those things. He's doing a lot better now. I hope, but I just looked at that brother like he's my role model as far as basketball is concerned. I just looked at him like he's it. He had his own way of doing things, own way of with the tats. And I don't have one tattoo, but him with his tat, the shorts, the braids, cornrows. Oh, the dude is just hands down. That's my favorite dude.
He revolutionized the game in a different way. They imposed the dress code.
Hold on, both of y'all.
Didn't he just get that check too? Didn't he just get that check
from Reebok?
No, didn't he just get that check, that lump sum?
The Reebok check?
Yeah. So
he's
back in the second thing.
Maybe.
So I think they gave him like almost 40 million.
Something like that. It was an escrow.
Yep.
My favorite college player, man, I had three of them. Allen Iverson was my fourth one. My first one was Larry Johnson for UNLV, because when that boy was coming down the middle,
unstoppable.
It
with
was
the part.
With the part in his head and the teeth and all. I was like, this dude, I didn't like him playing so much for the Knicks for obvious reasons, but I loved him in college. Like I would stop what I was doing watching him play in college. My second one was James Worthy. When James Worthy was balling for US, I would love to see that dude ball. I absolutely love playing him. And my third one, I kind of alluded to that earlier, man, was Eric Sleepy Floyd. Sleepy Floyd was the man in college playing for Georgetown. And people forget he got 5 steals in that game that they ended up losing to UNC at the time. He had 5 steals. If Georgetown had won that game, it's fair to say that he would have been the MVP of that game. But because of the pass and what happened in the last 20 seconds of the game and everything else, he still gets overlooked to this day. People don't even talk about him. He's not even mentioned. But again, he got 5 steals in that game, and he turned that game around for those boys, the Georgetown Hoyas. And Georgetown Hoyas, again, like I said, is one of my favorite teams because of Eric Sleepy Floyd. Can't knock that boy's playing. Like, people overlook him, man, especially in basketball history.
He could get to the basket, man. I remember his Warrior days. He could get to the basket. Sleepy Floyd and James Worthy do not get enough credit.
They sure don't.
Because James Worthy was a beast.
He really.
What was James Worthy's nickname on Dugar?
Worthy's
Big Game James.
That's right. Big Game
James. Yep.
You don't get a name like that unless you cold with it.
Yep.
Yep, you sure do. So now let me give you. Let me keep since we're talking about obviously NCAA and all that stuff, and we're doing all that everything else. Dugar, who is your favorite coach right now that's doing something? Doesn't have to be today, but who's your favorite coach? You sitting here saying, "Well, I like what this dude is doing." Who's your favorite coach all time?
In college,
Oh.
what? Basketball?
Yeah, college basketball. Favorite college basketball player. College basketball coach.
My favorite college basketball coach, I would say, is Don Staley.
Okay, you gotta say why.
I think she brings that same point guard tenacity to her team, to her locker room, to her players, and she's like a player's coach to me. She lets you figure it out and she lets you recorrect. I love that type of coaching. Like when I was coaching my son and for those years, it's like when the team would make mistakes, I wasn't that coach that would yank them out the game.
Right.
I would yell on the sideline, self-correct, and then they would all kind of sink in and they understood what that mean. That way you don't snatch the confidence from them for making a mistake and trying to make the big play. And I think Don instills that in her players.
That's a great answer. I really like that. Jay, what's your take?
Right now today, my favorite coach coaching, Kelvin Sampson. He's won every place he's been. Houston has not mattered since Phi Slamma Jamma.
That's right.
41 years ago, right? And this dude came in and he turned that program around in like 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So the way his players play, how tenacious they are on defense, because they get after you, bro. I mean, like you gonna have to earn it, when you play them. And that's a reflection of the coach. I love what he does. My favorite coach right now, Kelvin Sampson, easy.
Okay.
And Jay Wright, man, and he don't take no shit neither.
He don't.
Don't take no shit.
I'm about to go before Kevin because I know Kevin's gonna take mine. I know he's gonna take mine. I know he's gonna take mine. But Kevin, I will let you go. Here you go. Kevin, who's your favorite basketball coach?
In today's game or just overall?
Overall.
Overall, Coach John Thompson.
I see. I knew he was gonna take mine.
Coach John Thompson.
I knew he was gonna take mine. Keep going, Kevin. Keep going.
He's a brother that instilled learning in his players. You had to get good grades, and he made sure that you were gonna get good grades and have something to fall back on in your life if you didn't play basketball.
Get your degree.
Yeah.
He instilled.
Hey, I was the first one to leave early.
Yeah.
Instilled that mentality in everybody. Love him. And what he did for Allen Iverson.
Yeah,
Goes without
and let me piggyback off of that too. Coach Thompson would take players on his team that other people wouldn't take. We already saw that with Allen Iverson. He would do his own research into certain players and figure out why they should be picked and everything. And he didn't. This was one thing I really liked about him. He didn't go by what the high school All-American list was saying about people. He didn't go by that. If he didn't have eyes on and he didn't see tape on you as a player, he wasn't even trying to recruit you. I love that about him. But I think the pinnacle of his coaching career has got to be what he did for Allen Iverson, because he definitely was able to put Allen Iverson in the play, because everybody, people don't know this, but everybody in college basketball was trying to make sure Allen Iverson did not play college basketball. Obviously, Iverson's mother went and pleaded to him. John Thompson did his own research, his own homework, and then decided after he saw the Dan Rather report on what Allen Iverson did and what happened and everything else, he picked it up more than that, and he gave Allen Iverson a shot. And he was even the guy to say, you know what, you're so good, you need to leave and go to the pros. And he hasn't done that before and hasn't done that since. And finally, with John Thompson, he kicked you off the basketball team if you got lower than a 3.0 on his team. You weren't playing ball for Georgetown with less than a 3.0. There's not a college program.
Coach Carter.
Not right. They ain't a college program in the country that does that or was doing that before or since. And that's my favorite one.
Unless you went to one of them Ivy Leagues or Stanford.
Right.
That was AUT-O-matic.
Yeah. So we gonna do that. All right. So I did the favorite of college. Okay. Least favorite college moment, most tournament moment, Dugard, most disappointing for you that made you go, wow, I can't believe that this just happened.
For me, it might be off base, but in today's college basketball for men, I hate that there's no more dynasties because there's too much one and done.
I love it.
And that's what made men's college basketball so exciting during your mid 80s all the way through, the mid 90s, was because these guys stayed at least 3 years and they built dynasties. I love the Tar Heels dynasty. Even though I hate Duke, all these teams had these dynasties. Remember Louisville with Rodney and Scooter McCrae in them, and the O'Bannon brothers down in UCLA. There were dynasties, but they draft on potential now. That's why they had to have this G League, because you were drafting so many players so early, they weren't ready. And I think it's watered down men's college basketball.
I love you, bro, but that's not the question, though. I understand what you're saying, but give me.
That's why I said when I said it that it was going to be off base.
Right, it is. You're right, but your tournament moment that made you go, "I hate this moment." Like the tournament moment, was it somebody dunking on your team to win the game? Was it your team losing that you didn't expect to win? Give me your
when Christian Laettner caught that full court pass and did that turnaround jump shot. I hated it.
There you go. Least favorite tournament moment. There you go. What's yours? What's yours, Jay?
For me, I'm gonna say 1991 UNLV Duke. The overall moment UNLV lost, but the moment that I hated because it kind of shifted the tide of the game was that alley-oop that Grant Hill caught from Bobby Hurley. That was like insane. He caught it, like above the square and dunked it, and that got Duke amped up, and it was a deciding, pivotal moment in the game. Hate that moment. I
like that too. Nobody's picked my moment yet. Keep going, Kev. What's your watch? Kev pick my moment. Watch this. Watch. Kev,
No, I won't.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go with this one because I think a lot of people had high expectations for this brother, but when Zion Williamson blew out the sneaker and went down, I was like, oh, it's over. It's a done deal. It's a wrap. So I was upset about that. I was looking at this.
Yeah, you're right. Like, you didn't. Yeah, Kev didn't pick my moment. I'm shocked. My least favorite moment was when Ed Pinckney's Villanova Wildcats upset the Georgetown Hoyas, and I was sitting there watching that. I was heartbroken because, again, I was a huge Georgetown fan at the time, and I was a Sleepy Floyd fan at the time. Wasn't really the biggest Patrick Ewing fan at the time, but again, something that stole the thunder from Sleepy Floyd and all the boys from Georgetown, and Ed Pinckney and them come in on the championship game and steal the thunder and I was one of them. Everybody had Georgetown going to win by 30 at the time, if y'all remember that. It was supposed to be a blowout game, and it was one of the biggest upsets in tournament history. My man White Chocolate's in the building. White Chocolate, what's happening, bro? Hello, White Chocolate.
Hey, what's happening, Frank? How you doing? How you doing, guys?
How you doing?
What's up, Chop?
What is going on?
You want to throw in a comment or two before I wrap this up because the show's over? I give you the last word for you.
I'm not up on the college basketball like you guys. I will say that kind of a disappointing guy for who he was, and it's not going to be a popular pick, but I think John Bagley from BC was really good point guard for BC, but he didn't have the NBA career that people thought he was going to have.
I don't even remember. I forgot all about him. That was a good.
He was on the Celtics briefly. He jumped around for a little bit, but he was really. He took them to the tournament a few times, and I don't think he fulfilled his. And Patrick Ewing, somebody mentioned him. It was almost impossible for him to win a championship when you got the Celtics, the Lakers, the Bulls when they finally started getting good, and then Detroit.
Pistons.
He didn't have a shot. So that was I wouldn't call him really that much of a disappointment. That was my 2 cents.
Okay.
Great show, though. Great show. I've been listening the whole time. You guys had all awesome picks.
All right, so we're getting ready to wrap this show up. Dugard, tell everybody out there how they can follow you. You getting ready to jump back on the ship, bro?
I'm jumping on the ship tomorrow. I got to fly to Honduras, man. I don't like that airport, but anyway, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. Be back on Saturday. You can catch me at Daniel Dugard Carnival.
Thanks. I'm gonna have to go. You guys do your signs off right there, and we'll because I got to go. I got to take this. Go ahead. You guys do this talk. Steve, handle this for me.
Jay, go ahead. Tell us where everybody can follow you at.
You can follow me at JD Hayes at at fan base. But listen, we didn't talk about Georgetown going to 3 straight championship games. We didn't mention that.
Who went to
Georgetown went to 3 straight
Georgetown.
championship games.
Oh, okay.
That was
Kev?
crazy.
Yeah, well, hey, look, I know Kev said his career, NBA career was a little disappointing because he didn't get a championship, but I just think that the deck was stacked against him. He didn't really, they didn't have the team, the Knicks, to get him over the hump. Long story short, Kev, tell everybody where you can be followed.
He blew the layup. He blew the putback. So I'm sorry. Pat, old classmate, but whatever. Follow me right here at Humor Mill, box seats, baby.
Guys, thanks again. Great show. I will say that for myself and Frank, follow us on Boston Straight Shooters on Facebook and follow us here on Box Seats. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys later.
All right.
All right, fellas. I'm safe with Dugar.
All right.